if you are about to go to sleep, I apologize. You are being forced to think, so you might not get much sleep tonight.
Let's talk
I can't even speak English anymore. This is great. Fantastic start.
real quick, you all, about what fascism looks like in our
We're not even 5 seconds in. Okay.
schools. It's when teachers are told, don't talk about racism, don't talk about gender, and absolutely do not talk about equity.
Depends. Like those things is very what's the word, like personal. Everyone's going to speak of them a bit differently. Now if you want to talk about it to a group of like 17, 18 year olds, you want to talk about your own experience or whatever, I think that's fine. Just adults sharing their experience. um at least they're supposed to be adults. I'm going to imagine she's not very mature, so calling her an adult might be debatable. But again, if you're doing it to like young adults, late teens, I think that's fine. You're just talking to them. You're just communicating your ideas. But I know for a fact she's talking about doing it to like 10-year-olds.
Mrs. Harris, this is kindergarten. Aren't we supposed to be learning numbers and shapes today? You know,
1, 2, 3, Trump's racist. 4, 5, 6, Hassan is great. 7, 8, 9.
she's not in a fascist country because she comfortably says all this on camera, which you could not do in a fascist country without being jailed.
If teachers can't teach real history, if we
What's real history? You say that, I immediately am like, uh-huh. Right, well, what's the fake history that you're the quote? Because if she can't teach real history, she has to be teaching fake history. So what are you teaching that's fake? That's wrong.
can't challenge injustices, then classrooms stop being places of learning and they start becoming places of control.
They've always been places of control. Literally, a school is shut up, listen to me, I'm your teacher, learn when I tell you to learn. And then when I ask you, just vomit out the information.
Plenty of ways that school conditions kids to be easily controlled pathologically, but those aren't it. What is this chick even talking about? You can literally see pictures of letters, rectangles, and numbers on her wall, which means her class is very young. What business does politics have in a place where kids aren't even old enough to read? I mean, is she going to say it's fascism because you can't teach sex ed to 5-year-olds too? Well, she kind of already did. But these people will call anything fascist. Meanwhile, they'll stay silent on or approve of people getting arrested for calling themselves retarded.
I was told I would either be arrested or I had to turn up for interview under caution, was because on my Katie's Arms, I called myself a spaz. And I got arrested effectively by British police because
you can't even make fun of
that's
press wrong button. You can't even make fun of yourself. I can't even call myself a retard without getting arrested.
I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to be charged against the Online Communications Act.
Yes.
So if you went to court for that, just hypothetically speaking, are you against the state, or surely, because you can't be both the plaintiff and the defendant. That would be very interesting. Looney Tunes sketch.
See that?
Shit.
That's a real instance of authoritarian censorship, and there are many examples of this in England. There's a whole world of difference between being arrested for saying
but they agree with that, so it's fine.
That you're a spaz, and your principal kindly asking you to spend more time teaching kids to count and less time teaching them bullshit like systemic racism.
Here's the reality, you all. Silencing educators isn't about protecting our students or protecting children. It isn't about us indoctrinating children in a classroom with our political beliefs or our own personal agendas. It is 100% about protecting fascism.
That's strange because it completely sounds like it's about all of those things while at the same time having nothing to do with fascism. What's wrong with just giving kids the tools to learn and letting them figure things out on their own?
Because if you can figure things out on your own, you can think for yourself, and that's the last thing they want. If you can think for yourself, you might come to a conclusion that differs from their opinion. I think it is a reason partially why so many people are uncomfortable with critical thinking, and they rather just be told what to think. Because if you don't think for yourself, you can't think of an idea that might get you ostracized from a group. However, though, a lot of those people do tend to be midwits, and they themselves tend to think that they're like pariahs of critical thinking. Like that one guy in my comment section like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He was my first ever hate comment. I'll never forget him, but oh my god, he was tweaking out.
That's what good teachers
I farmed him though, so it was well worth it.
Well, that's kind of the point, right? These aren't good teachers who have their students' best interests in mind. These are ideologically possessed, useful idiots who are seeking to convert people, and elementary school kids are the perfect victims because they're a captive audience who legally have to be in the classroom.
Also, yeah, they're not old enough to be able to think deeply about things. If they're elementary, they're what, 13 at most? 12, 13?
And kids don't have any life experiences or know anything, so it's easy to get them to believe whatever you want without any sort of pushback. The fact that she wants to teach gender ideology to 5-year-olds is insane. Sorry, 7-year-olds. I just found this parody video where she talks about teaching 2nd grade.
Let me think of his name. Abraham Lincoln.
That smoke detector was edited in. There's no... No, that was fucking edited. There's no way that even the smoke detector in this school is going off.
Every time. I feel like it's impossible to cover a black person on TikTok without hearing a smoke detector that needs a battery replacement.
You edited that.
No,
I refuse. Yeah, no, you did. I refuse to believe.
Edit the beep in.
I know y'all been worried about my smoke detector. The maintenance guy changed the battery. It's still beeping. It's nothing else I can't do. It ain't. I can't make it stop beeping. I can't do none of it. It's just gonna beep on and on.
Anyway,
if I changed the battery and it was still. I know he's taking the piss, or I hope he is at least. If it was still beeping, I would actually just take it out completely or buy a new one, more than likely.
Personally, I think it's a special kind of evil to teach children useless ideology that will screw up years of their lives just to make yourself feel important like this teacher is trying to do. Especially when it's evident that the person in question is just repeating talking points that she heard on CNN or whatever, rather than perceptions that were found through hard work, research, and self-reflection. I don't think she really understands what authoritarianism is.
Like, my mom was pretty liberal, then she started using TikTok, and then she became super liberal.
She wouldn't unironically repeat the talking points of the most oppressive groups in the country who would have you arrested for misgendering people.
How does that law force XXXY to use pronouns? Like, in their advertising, in their corporate offices?
If they are interacting with a customer and the customer says, this is my preferred name and these are my preferred pronouns, this is the way I want to be addressed, there is a legal obligation to do that. They're compelled to use those pronouns.
Fucking stupid. Shouldn't be a legal obligation. Doing it out of respect? Sure. Legal? No, fuck off.
Pronouns and those surnames under Colorado's law. And the real kicker is there are criminal penalties for it. You can have prison time, jail time for up to 4 months.
This isn't a new stance. They've been preaching criminal penalties for misgendering for like a decade. And considering our elementary school teacher's prior comments about gender and the fact that...
How is that not, like, hurting her ears? Like, I have worn, at least to me, some pretty heavy earrings. And even it made my ear whole, I guess. It's made it sag a bit. So my right earring hangs lower than my left one. That's going to get taken out of context. Whatever. I don't care. But like, and that was just from earring with a little cross on it. How the fuck do you wear... I know it's knitted, but like...
She has pronouns in her bio. I can almost guarantee that she would approve of people being arrested for speech that she finds offensive, despite being mad about what she calls censorship. I've watched enough people approving of Charlie Kirk's murder to know that this archetype of person has no idea what the term free speech means, and they thought police each other like crazy, so they all believe the exact same things, to the extent where they will support movements that are completely contrary to...
Because I immediately saw the Palestine flag in the name and realized it was a fucking retard, so I just ignored it. But I remember the video, yeah.
Their personal beliefs, because the group supports them. For example, we have Queers for Palestine.
What happened to a gay couple in Palestine, sir? Executed according to Islamic law. Islam doesn't endorse gayism. Islam doesn't endorse homosexuality.
I mean, these people are paid protesters, right? I've seen a lot of dumb shit on the internet, but even I have trouble believing that this is not astroturfed. But going back to school teachers...
Some of them probably are paid, but I think the vast majority is upper middle class people who don't have any problems in their life, who are just basically creating something that they can get mad about, like Queers for Palestine. Like, what the fuck is that? It's nothing. But they're basically creating something to do, essentially, to occupy themselves, I suppose, is the word for it. You know how most people, they'll like have a hobby, like they'll play games or they'll read a book or whatever. Yeah, theirs is protesting.
We've gotten to the point where it feels like most children's spaces.
Also, almost every guy I've spoken to that goes to those protests does it to get laid. Like they admit that they do it to get laid. Now they never do, but they try.
Been raided by idiot radicals who care more about kids growing up with the right opinions than they do about teaching them useful
the right opinion. Troll.
Skills.
I love
to the
Troll.
extent where in terms of parenting, everything is starting to become a landmine for kids. Recently, Netflix has been under fire for having a multitude of shows aimed at children as young as 2 years old.
Flex muscles. What the fuck does that even mean? I mean, this happens all the time though with Netflix. Yes, I do have Roblox open. Fuck you. This isn't necessarily indicative of anything like this. This happens to Netflix all the time, where they just don't make any good shows, and then they lose a bunch of subscribers, and then they release like 1, maybe 2 good shows, and then they get most of them back.
That are teaching them transgender and LGBT ideology.
When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me.
How about you break out those moves for your 2 biggest fans?
Since when did just be you mean wear a dress and act like the opposite gender? It's almost like when they say, just be you, the writers of this are specifically trying to lead very young children down
just be you if what you is something that supports my fucked ideology.
On a certain path. Oh wow, this meme is diabolical and related. Netflix unironically did this.
My favorite part about this is they gave the black guy the Killmonger haircut. By the way, this haircut is how you know this was made by white women.
But also, I'm going to be honest, Killmonger was hot. Like, I'm straight, but even I would say Killmonger was hot. Okay. The haircut, I fuck with that haircut. It's a really cool haircut. Okay. But yes, I understand.
This is what comes up when you search the company that makes Cocomelon, and trust
I'm going to be surprised. I thought Cocomelon would just be a bunch of Indian dudes. I'm actually surprised it isn't.
Me, nobody is shocked by these demographics. And let me just say this in a way so everyone can understand how corrupt this is. The founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, would often say something like, customers don't know what they want until I tell them what they want. Yeah. This statement is arrogant, but I find it to be very accurate. People don't realize how many choices are actually made for them by somebody else. Like, how do you know if you want an iPhone if you've never seen a smartphone before? Or have you walked into a store before expecting to buy nothing but ended up walking out with tons of stuff?
Yeah,
getting people to think that they are intuitively picking
or I think for most people it's you go in looking for one thing and you end up leaving with 10. But yeah,
things without them knowing that they're actually being led to pick that thing is an essential skill to have in the higher levels of creative fields, as the audience very often doesn't desire something until it's shown to them.
Parents absolutely have a right to be annoyed as shit with this. I'm trans, and if I had a kid, they would not be fucking watching this.
Let me make this even easier to understand. They're advertising.
If you don't know what that was, by the way, that was a Transformer, like actual Transformer. I'm talking about the robot who came out as, I think that there was one that was non-binary and there was one that was trans. I think that's the non-binary one.
Genderism to kids when they put stuff like this in.
Because you know, when you're fighting the Decepticons to try and save Earth and you're like fighting Megatron, what really matters is what fucking pronouns you have. Like, so fucking stupid. It doesn't even make sense in the context of the story.
Melon, which is a special form of evil because kids are very impressionable.
And they also know, I think realistically speaking, that a bunch of parents will just throw on Cocomelon and then just fuck off. Like, they use it as a way to kind of make their kid shut up. Or to, you know, keep them busy with all the flashing colors and shit.
At least when I was younger, it's not like every boy was trying on dresses. This was a very rare thing in the 90s, so not many kids were thinking that this was a good idea on their own outside of maybe a Halloween costume as a joke. And the ones that might claim it was their own idea would often report when they got older that their mothers who wanted a daughter would put them in dresses. I mean, if you don't think that women can be degenerates, then I suggest that you watch this
Boys, women are just as, if not more, degenerate than men. They just hide it better, I'm going to be honest.
Video by Shoe on Head. Degenerate behavior is actually
really good video, by the way. Watch it. You can watch my reaction, but I'd watch the original one.
Quite normalized among women.
These bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. Thousands and thousands of women in particular have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well,
is this going to be the
Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course.
Please show the extract where it's like she wants to fall face first.
A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
So I find it very strange that we have all this sexual confusion in the younger generations the minute that tons of TV shows and children's books are telling kids to cross-dress. And considering that the wokies themselves are saying that this type of behavior leads to suicidal ideation, they are essentially admitting that they're infecting kids with mental health issues.
I hear someone's not feeling well. Let's take a look at the little man.
Can I please talk to you two outside? I know that you guys are busy, but as you would see, if you looked at her and not her chart, Bailey is not a boy. And by
I would say, love, I'm a doctor. You're a 13-year-old. Shut the fuck up. I do not care. I'm here to make sure people don't die. Whatever that kid wants to be called, I do not care. I am more important than the fucking kid's pronouns, okay?
Treating her like one, you are completely ignoring who she is. You're making her feel
By the way, she has stage 4 liver cancer.
insignificant and humiliated. And that's not gonna help her feel good or safe or calm. So, from here on out, please recognize her for who she is.
You must be so fun at parties.
I bet the retards who wrote that incredibly preachy scene thought it was glorious and deserving of a standing ovation.
That was so embarrassing. You know the libs just eat that up. You know it's a bitch crying behind that.
That scene came from another Netflix show called The Babysitter's Club that aired back in 2020. Just in case you weren't aware, The Babysitter's Club was a popular book series that girls would read when I was in elementary school.
I've never
just to give you an idea of the age of the target audience. And I have to say that regardless of the argument being made, you have to have zero respect for the audience's intelligence to preach to them like this. This kind of soapbox-style writing is designed for morons, and it's about as annoying as modern games giving constant tutorials for the dumbest stuff like, press A to jump. Did you know that jumping is how you can get over obstacles and avoid enemy attacks? Yeah, no shit. I have no...
See, I think most game tutorials should be done the same way Dark Souls does it, where they just throw fucking, like, shit on the ground. It's like, hey, if you want to read it, you can. If you don't, just walk past it. That is the best way to do a tutorial, because 9 times out of 10 you're telling me worthless shit like this. If it's a unique game mechanic specific to your game, or something that only comes up sometimes, like parrying, parrying varies a lot from game to game, which you wouldn't think it is, because it's literally just like a block on the correct timing, but it does differ sometimes. If you want to explain that, sure, but brother, don't fucking tell me how to walk, okay?
No idea.
Or at the very least, give me a... Because not every game does it. Most games don't do it, actually. But give me a, do you want to watch or do you want to play through the tutorial or whatever?
Video games do this when the natural impulse when you first turn on a game is to press all the buttons and see what they do.
Yeah. This game doesn't treat you like you're retarded. They know you're retarded because you bought the game.
Not being able to see or respect the intellectual ability of others is a...
By the way, seeing Think Before You Sleep using many more Asmongold clips, because I'm assuming he's starting to watch Asmongold more, is absolutely cinema. I fucking love this evolution.
Trait of dumb people.
When you look at the staff of Netflix, you can start to really see, like, demons. Hamish Steele.
Oh,
this guy is a he/they Blue Sky user. This person, of course, was one of the, Charlie Kirk grave spitters. This is the person making kids cartoons.
Of course. I bet that most of the people who write on these types of shows would have no problem with what he said about Charlie Kirk. This guy was a writer on that other Netflix transgender propaganda show that people have been memeing called Dead End Paranormal Park. Anyway, to that prior point, giving children the exact answers to everything instead of fostering...
I think the start of this, by the way, this, like, gay, trans, like, cartoon thing, unironically, was Steven Universe. That was the start of all of this shit. Because, like, back in I think it was Cartoon Network, wasn't it? You would have, like, Gumball, you'd have Adventure Time, and you would have this weird show about gay lesbians fighting in space over a super lesbian. And it was just like, oh, what the fuck is happening here? This is weird. I'm instantly uncomfortable. What is happening, you know?
In an environment where they can figure out the answers themselves removes their ability to critically think.
Which is sad, because I think, like, on paper, it's cool. I mean, one of my favorite decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the fucking, what are they called? Crystal Knights. Like, I like the idea, I like it conceptually, but they just made it really gay for some fucking reason.
And since it's coming from Netflix, I think it's a strategy that's done on purpose. That company is so nefarious with children's content that they will throw something like this 5 seasons into a show.
The truth is, Sammy, I've fallen for you. I know. I heard you earlier. I just wanted to hear you say it again because I've been wanting to hear you say that since I don't even know when.
Imagine you're a parent and you trust that there's an innocent show for your kids about dinosaurs. You don't want to be a helicopter parent and look over their shoulder for everything they watch, because that's bad for their development. So after you've already given the show your trust in season 1, several seasons later they randomly insert LGBT content into it. And
I've said it before, my kid is only going to watch the good stuff. He's only going to watch what I have vetted for him personally, or her personally. You're not watching no fucking Netflix gay dinosaurs having sex. No, you're watching Adventure Time and shit, right? Okay, okay. We're not losing any of that new stuff. We're going to be like the Amish, but for TV shows.
You have to have an uncomfortable conversation with your 6-year-old who's not ready for this kind of information. I mean, as a parent, I'd be pretty pissed about that. In fact, I would cancel my subscription over this. Now, if you're kind of shy about this because there's a show on Netflix that you like, then how about you just cancel for a few months? Try it out.
Or you can sail the 7 seas, and you can. I'm not saying you should. Don't do it. It's very, very bad, very illegal. But you know, I'm just saying, like, there's other ways to watch a show you might like without paying Netflix.
You can always come back, and believe me, if people start canceling even for just a few months, they're going to feel it. This is grooming, and for a more classic example, you even have the Steven Universe showrunner saying they—
Oh my god, he's talking about the gay lesbians.
Specifically—
I'm literally just saying gay twice, but it sounds funnier.
Waited like 50 episodes into the show to force feed in a lesbian relationship.
We kept Ruby and Sapphire hidden from the network until 2014 when we finally made Jailbreak, and as expected, we got the note that these characters—
I don't think this is as bad. I think it's okay to have a lesbian character or a gay character in your show or whatever, but with Steven Universe in particular, basically everyone became gay, or they became non-binary or some shit. It's like, that's not how this works. Also, one of the characters looks like a dude, so actually when I watched the show when I was like, I don't know, 7, I thought it was a guy and a girl, so I just didn't give a fuck.
cannot be in a romantic relationship. I said that they are. They sing a song about it. They're in love. The song's already been recorded. We can't take it out. We got the characters in, and from then on, every episode with Ruby and Sapphire was a big uphill battle, but it was one that I was willing to fight. I would compromise on other things, but I would not compromise on Ruby and Sapphire.
Why does this need to be in a show for kids? I'm not even kidding with how fucked up this is.
This fucking meme.
Hey, when we're older, let's get married.
Why are these little kids in a gay relationship? Their voices haven't even dropped yet.
Oh, it's so funny because it's the whole thing. Apparently, at the end of the ad or whatever they're recording for like a TV studio, and Garen is like, "Don't be racist." Everyone's like, "Oh, it's record. You can be racist, boys. It's fine."
But this is just on the Cartoon Network YouTube page now. It's clearly grooming, and people don't want this shit in children's media because it's forcing them to have conversations with their kids that they aren't old enough for. And I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of these writers are childless.
I didn't know what to say. Just say fucking yes or no, bro. It's not that I'm assuming because you said you didn't know what to say. It's actually a no.
I took my grandson to see
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz, the Lightyear.
So we watching it, and the
Snoop
lady,
Dogg's not going to be happy.
Mama, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
Right. It's inappropriate. 5-year-olds don't need to know how babies are made, nor do they need to understand every single nuance of adult relationships. So why is this stuff in kids' shows? Can they even tell anyone the social harm of waiting until kids are post-puberty to discuss this stuff? No, they can't because there isn't one. The only harm is a decrease in stock prices for pharmaceutical companies because they won't be able to...
And it would also be harder to indoctrinate someone if they're older. Because they're more set in their ways. And they have pre-existing beliefs and they have pre-existing experiences they can compare what you're telling them to.
Puberty blockers.
If any parents are concerned that if they do not show their kids LGBT kids cartoons, that they are somehow going to grow up to be someone who is intolerant or confused or not educated on these issues, I promise you a gay motherfucker will find a way to be gay. If your kid ultimately, their destiny is to be trans later in life and they make that informed decision and that's their life journey, I promise you they're going to get there without needing to be propagandized about it first.
But I can't stress enough to young people how in the 90s things like this didn't exist. Yes, there were gays, but people weren't identifying as trans left and right. Certainly kids weren't. I think until after gay marriage was fully legalized in like 2015 and the LGBT activist groups ran out of a cause to fight for, I had seen maybe like one trans person in my entire life. All of this is manufactured.
I've seen one IRL and I saw one on Tinder. One goes to my college. And when I saw them I was like, oh, they're trans? Or when I found out, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't give a fuck. Most people don't. Now, if they're going to try and push it on people, that's a different ballgame. But from what I know, they're not. They're just trying to be, like, from my understanding, most trans people are just trying to, you know, live their life. I'm like, oh, okay, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I don't really give a fuck. It doesn't, you know, it's not affecting me.
And people are now picking up genders like they pick up the weird porn fetishes that you see in Turkey Tom videos.
Yeah, Turkey, he covers every D-Gen group.
Videos.
ABDL.
Ooh, I like your pins. I am Nightshade. My pronouns are they, them.
Thanks.
Your pronouns are beast ass. You're a fucking, oh my god, what are the good guys called again? It's Decepticons and Autobots. You're an Autobot. Your job is to fight Megatron and Starscream. And dinosaurs, apparently. It's been a while since I've caught up on the lore. You know, your job is to fight evil, not worry about your pronouns. You're a fucking robot. Do your job, Clanker. We will dismantle you.
I'm Sam. I'm she, they. Sometimes the world can be a scary place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not. Hey, it's okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Are you sure you want to go down that route? I feel safe when I'm around people who are just like me. Imagine if a...
No, it's fine, because they're not the majority, so they're allowed to say it.
White person said that.
As you guys know, I'm Irish, so it's cool.
I said it before, there's no way she's Irish. There's no Irish person, like, actually Irish that's that attractive. Say what you want about Billy, she is definitely conventionally attractive. No, Irish people, we're not attractive. We can be funny, we can be aggressive, we can be alcoholics, we can be everything, to be honest, except attractive. We had to be nerfed with that, otherwise we would take over the world.
I am not from here, obviously, but it's really cool to come somewhere and like everybody looks exactly like you.
Damn, that sounded super racist.
I fucking wish.
Fix it by having a black person say it.
Coming to Ghana has been great. It's the first time in my life that I'm not black. Here it's like, everybody's black.
I thought it was a fucking key.
So you don't even think about being black. It's beautiful. Yeah. Coming to a place where you're the majority is very empowering.
Gee, that was a close one. Now let's go back to telling white people that they're evil for being born the wrong skin color.
Hi everybody, I'm at the Bastard Barbecue right now. All my friends are in there. I don't really understand. So you're not letting me in because of my hairstyle? Correct.
Yeah, so, if it doesn't align with a culture that...
Jared, they won't... I'm filming right now, but they won't let me in because I have dreadlocks.
Who gives a fuck?
They won't let me in because I have dreadlocks, and they're trying to show me that this way.
To them that we have.
Like what? I never understood that whole. It's like it's our hair, brother. It's fucking hair. It's not that deep.
Cultural appropriation policy.
But this is retarded. I just drove.
Although to be fair, you can. Oh, she said the R word. Oh no, he's going to tweak out, or she. I don't fucking know. But yeah. If hair is making you tweak, you have a very nice life.
5 hours to get here.
Also, like, even that language, I don't want used in the venue as
Oh my
well. So
gosh.
it's like,
Oh man, pulling out the R word, that's messed up. But allow me to use this clip to point
How
out that
dare you
again,
use that
all of this
slur.
outrage is manufactured by political radicals. Even people who are slightly right of Karl Marx don't like it. This is like a gay music festival or whatever with a sign that ironically says they have a zero tolerance policy for all forms of bigotry and oppressive behavior. So this dreadlock...
What's oppressive behavior? What do you classify that as? I am genuinely curious. Is it like you don't like Hassan Piker? You don't like Destiny? You don't agree with me on every single topic ever in the existence of all of mankind? Like what a...
lady is probably on the left if she's going to an event like this.
Okay, well then I would like my money back in cash.
Yeah, we can be able to.
I would rather go in and not have to make myself look like a total retard because I've been camping for like.
Oh no, she said it again.
You're using the R word on this and trying to look good.
No. Yeah, that's also a thing where
I'm allowed to call myself whatever I want.
The word retard is just not okay in the world and in this venue.
Oh man, she R-worded again. What's wrong with her? Wait, what are the rules on this? Because I know if it was the N-word they were talking about, they wouldn't say the full word. They would just say the N-word. So why are they saying retard and not the R-word if it's...
I never thought about that. Oh.
So offensive.
What if, like, somebody comes with braids in their hair?
if that is not with their culture, if they are appropriating another culture, they will be asked to leave.
I'm native as well. It's totally
No, you're not black, therefore, no.
unfair and I'm being discriminated
So
against.
the Birdhouse is committed to creating an anti-racist environment. This was made very carefully with the black community in our space.
That's hilarious because black girls appropriate white women's hair all the time.
No, that's fine because they're oppressed.
Seems like a very privileged and racist position to say that a white person can't do a thing that you're allowed to do because they were born the wrong skin color.
Can I just say, literally this August, a white person said the N-word in front of
Oh, no!
Nobody cares. Black people say that word constantly. You can't be that offended by it. The only reason you're pretending to care is because you want to use it as a tool to unfairly gain power by playing the victim, or you want to use it to spread racial hatred of white people. I mean, how have these people skated by all these years without being called racist when they are very obviously extremely racist?
Because for whatever reason, apparently, if you are the minority of people, you just can't be racist. Rules don't apply to you. I had a girl in my fucking sociology class say that we were watching a video. It was from like 2010 or whatever, and there was a thing in the UK where it was a poor neighborhood, and most neighborhood were black people, and they were looting. They looted the area, and you know the reporters were talking to them, and one of the girls in my class said that, because obviously they were being called gang members because they were. But one of the guys mentioned that he had a kid, and she was like, you can't be both a gang member and have a kid. And she also said they're assuming he's a gang member because he's black. It's like, no, they're assuming he's a gang member because he's part of a fucking gang, you retard. It's like there's a lot of people who just... Thoughts aren't like a thing. Everything has to be racist. Everything has to be to put down someone else. As in, like, oh, they're calling him a gang member. It's not because he is. It's because they're trying to put him down because he's black. It's like, no, that's not. It's not why they're doing it. I mean, maybe some people, sure, but like, no, that's not what the majority are doing.
Like more racist than the average person. As for the white people from the Queer Music Festival, wait, isn't queer a slur? It definitely used to be a slur, so I don't see how they can be mad about that girl.
Queer was never a slur here, so I don't know. Queer here just means gay. It's just another word for gay we use here. I don't know how it's used around the world.
All using the R word. But these white people hate other white people so much that they have no idea of the obscene amounts of money that black women spend straightening their hair or buying wigs to try and make it look like a white girl's hair.
If you're offended by minorities talking about their lived experiences, you're the problem.
If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem.
Someone needs to show this chick crime statistics and then ask her which men women are afraid of.
Listen, I've seen these women try and read statistics. They're not very good at it. You would have to explain it to them, but you can't explain it to them because then you're mansplaining. So you're kind of fucked no matter what.
Sorry, I'm not sorry. All these complainers need to get with the program or shut the fuck up. No one cares about your lived experiences or how it's okay for you to be a degenerate criminal who deserves reparations for shit that you didn't live through. In fact, I might say that some of these people's lived experiences are going to become quite uncomfortable when we start giving judges capital punishment for releasing people who have committed 25 felonies in a 10-year period out into polite society. And also, in my opinion, things are about to become real uncomfortable for the educators who have been pushing sexual deviancy onto children.
I'm a mom of 2 in Fairfax County. This is my oldest.
He's adorable.
And my husband and I have a difficult decision to make this fall as he is approaching preschool age, and we are faced with the decision of whether or not we are going to put our child in public school system where Fairfax County has,
if possible,
decided to move forward with instituting gender studies in elementary school.
Yeah, throw them all in jail. From a technical standpoint, this is not pedophilia, but it's certainly adjacent, and unnecessarily teaching prepubescent kids sexual topics in school outside of basic biology should be a crime that lands you prison time or worse. There are not nearly enough teachers and school board members going to jail for this.
Despite having done a study group, a focus group in the community to see if parents even wanted this.
I guarantee you, except maybe one Karen, everyone said, no, this is fucking weird.
And when parents said no, the board voted 16-0 and said we're moving forward anyways. This shows clearly that they see parents not as partners, but as an obstacle for their agenda.
More evidence that this entire school board should be arrested. You don't think these types of people should be in prison, or worse? Look at this.
So here's what I'm asking you. You have a hard time hearing this from me, but this is for 10 years old and up, and this bill was passed for 5-year-olds.
I like this guy in the back hitting a power pose.
I have a hard time me sitting here telling you the words anal sex, masturbation. That's hard for you, or the time's up? Because the time's not really up. I don't believe you, Mr. Wiley, that my time is up.
Approved for 5-year-olds. The fact that there is no sentencing for this stuff is ridiculous. More and more we hear stories like this next one because these sick fucks have been allowed to get away with it.
In early May of 2021, my wife and I were asked by our daughter if she could attend Jenna Reap's after-school anime club at Wellington Middle School.
Right. Okay. I think I know where this is going. Talk about my experience a bit. This was in college. I was going to go to my college's anime club. Now you look at their Instagram. No. It's a lot. It's literally just a group of wokies doing a bunch of woke bullshit and not actually talking about anime. Because I'm a fucking nerd. I'll admit it. I am. And I want to talk about that stuff with other people. Not go into a room and talk about politics. I don't give a fuck. I do not care.
Knowing there's a lot of inappropriate anime, we reluctantly...
Okay, I actually wasn't even thinking about that person. Yeah, man. I mean... yeah, okay.
Gave our permission, trusting PSD to provide a safe, age-appropriate environment for our child.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I love Japan, but anime has a lot of stuff in it that's inappropriate for middle schoolers. There's a reason why Toonami and 4Kids back in the 90s used to edit anime like crazy. Anyway, so after going to this...
I would be honest, at least with 4Kids with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Original anime, some of the edits they did were so fucking funny. I actually love it.
Anime club
like,
for
instead
middle
of guns,
schoolers,
they just pointed fingers at each other.
This guy's 12-year-old daughter tries to end her life. Up next is the conversation that follows him bringing this up.
Not a single PSD employee reached out to us to understand what in the PSD environment may have contributed to her decision to end her life. It wasn't until May of this year when Wellington Middle School made the news that we had a much better understanding of what had happened and realized that our experience was not an isolated incident Anime Club was actually a club about gender and sex, and when we asked our daughter if she was ever told to lie to us about it, she said she was told that students didn't have to talk to anyone about what was being said in that room.
So yes, they just said it in a roundabout way.
And if parents asked, students didn't need to tell them. And it felt like a slap in the face to me to listen to Brian Kingsley and Kelby Benedict, the principal, through email and in person and video, that they fully support and encourage these organizations that they know bring with them a highly elevated suicide rate. When we met with Kelby, he told us, I am proud of the community that we've created in Wellington, a community that led to my daughter's decision to try and end her life. And when we shared out...
I mean, he's proud of the community, probably because the community is just metaphorically sucking him off 24/7. Like, people do this a lot of the time as well. Teachers do have a tendency to do this, where they'll develop a community, quote-unquote, that's basically just, maybe they have a weird, like, obsession or something. Like, they're into something weird. Not necessarily sexual, but... And then they'll, like, try and push it onto school kids by mentioning it. And then they create a community which just kind of support them. And they're like, oh, I have friends now. It's like, no, you don't.
Our experience with Kelby, he told us that kids being invited to art club and anime club were just rumors, and then suggested our daughter was lying with regards to what Jenna Reap had told her about talking to parents.
Hey kids, let's talk about sexual topics. Make sure that you don't tell your parents what we're saying. It's our little secret. You see what I mean by pedo adjacent? I mean, there are like a million stories of stuff like this. It literally happens all the time, and these people need to start getting arrested for doing this. Like, why did this next teacher only get fired?
We are going to name this trans student Millie. Millie's parents have found out that Millie is going by Millie at school. Millie's parents are homophobic and transphobic, and so they don't like that. Them being homophobic and transphobic does not make Millie not Millie. They are essentially torturing Millie at home because they don't like this. At this point, I'm going to let you know that the Department of Education for my state does not force people to call trans kids by their chosen names, but it does have it heavily recommended. I am very confused when the admin Larry sends out an email to all of the staff that have Millie. The email says that henceforth they are only to be called Bob by all of the teachers, and if they hear them saying anything to any of the other students, they need to correct them. And so when Millie came in that day, I took Millie aside and I was like, hey, I got an email today that said that you want to go by Bob now. Is that true? And Millie just starts sobbing. Because no, Millie does not want to go by Bob now. Bob is the dead name. Millie is still Millie and wants to be called Millie, but the parents have contacted the school, and Larry decided that this was the best course of action. Yes, these events did 100% lead to me not being hired again at the end of the year. Worth it.
That's not a flex, by the way. Being unemployable isn't a fucking flex. Yeah, did she say what age of kids? I'm just assuming it's super young. Yeah, don't reinforce their delusions. If some kid comes in one day and says, I'm a fucking Transformer, or I'm Optimus Prime, you're not like, yes you are, and I will call you Optimus from this day forward, and I will give you a sword just like he has. And you can stab anyone who disagrees with you. It's like, no, we're not going to fucking do that.
Yeah, going around and gender-confusing kids should be a crime. A light punishment for doing this secretly and against the wishes of the parents would be losing her job and losing her teaching license. Because remember what this leads to. For now, it's just a name change, but in a few years, it's medical and surgical intervention, which are decisions that lead to permanent outcomes that these kids may not want when they turn 25.
And also, usually, they're not actually fully informed about the outcomes. There's starting to come out now videos of people who transitioned at a really young age, and they're saying that they were never actually told like all of the all the negative side effects of it. They were only told like 1 or 2, and they were the best, as in the least bad ones.
Yet parents and doctors and school employees are making this decision for kids at like 13. Actually, that's not entirely accurate, because oftentimes schools are gatewaying kids into this against parental consent or knowledge. And a lot of this comes from stupid ideology that some people have, that kids are just like tiny adults. And instead of being a stern parent and guiding them away from bad decisions that have negative consequences that they are too young to understand, every little whim should be listened to.
What age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's
How?
Has been telling us since she could speak.
You've got to be kidding me. These parents are insane. What, he picked up a Barbie doll and now you decided that he needs cross-hormone therapy?
If you like girl things, it means that you're actually a girl. That's right. So if you like gardening, you're a girl. If you like cooking, you're a girl. Why is it that every single...
Even though, statistically speaking, most chefs are male. And I'd imagine most gardeners are probably male as well.
Like, if gender's such a massive spectrum, then why is every kid that shows an interest in something that's feminine automatically trans? I like Sailor Moon. Does that make me a girl? Yeah, it is. Go to your go talk to your doctor tomorrow, and you should start your transition immediately.
At this point, if the CPS wasn't so great at putting kids in situations that are worse than the ones they're being rescued from...
Oh yeah, CPS is so good at that. It's actually really sad.
Then I would say that legal action should be taken against these parents for doing this.
I don't know how, but they just have an amazing ability to make things worse.
To their 1-year-old. So I don't think we can do anything on that front outside of maybe shaming them for doing this, but I do believe that we can make the lives of other people very uncomfortable for promoting this stuff. In recent months, my mind has changed on this very much. There's no talking to these people or reasoning with them or compromising. Their lives just need to be ruined until they step in line.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is
no, JD Vance, you don't understand. Their dad was bad, so it's fine. How was he bad? I couldn't tell you. He said thing I don't like, so therefore I advocate that his whole family gets murdered. It's fine. You're actually the weird one.
There's no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination.
We tried unity. We've been trying open debate and honest discussion with these people since 2016, 2014? Not only have they mislabeled us as fascist Nazis, but they have ritually tried to assassinate political figures on our side. And when they succeeded, they all laughed and said, why not more? Oh, and it's not just Republicans like Charlie Kirk that they did this to. Remember, a Democrat, Melissa Hortman, was murdered by a radical leftist conveniently after she voted against health.
Yeah, she voted for a right-wing bill, I think it was, is the way it was, as I heard about it. She voted for a bill that the left weren't a fan of, so immediately, of course, natural conclusion, you murder her. Because, yeah, that makes sense.
Care for illegals. Make no mistake, these radicals will kill people on the left too for not being left enough. Now, going back to trans kids, I've shown this clip in 2 different videos already, but I think it's so disgusting that it bears repeating considering that a month ago, the world changed.
Dr. Olson had a decision.
Oh,
you are in the perfect place to start on blockers.
And she promises to begin giving her estrogen, female hormones.
This kid's like 8, isn't it?
2 years.
Around 13.
2 years, start 11.
That's what I think. You're not going to wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
Now, in the past, I might have...
She's 11. She doesn't even know what she fucking wants for dinner. Or sorry, he wants for dinner estrogen, so it's male to female. He doesn't even know what he wants for dinner. Like, he can't be fucking making decisions on whether he wants to chop his dick off or not.
Dad, isn't this so awful? We should talk to these people and show them the error of their ways. I'm not on that level anymore. This doctor should get life in prison, or worse. I see very little difference between sterilizing 13-year-olds and child molestation. And make no mistake, she very likely has given these recommendations to many
multiple
kids.
People, yeah.
So let's do it. Let's change the laws and make it happen. People need to be criminally punished for medically transitioning kids. Why are we letting radical activists or teachers or psychologists or doctors tell parents that their kids will die if they don't go on HRT? That's not how this works.
Which, by the way, when you ask them to explain how that works, it's very like... Cause they might hurt themselves if they don't switch genders, but statistically speaking, if they do switch genders, they're actually far more likely to hurt themselves. But that's actually propaganda from the MAGA right. So yeah,
works. And if they want to say that it works like that, then allow me to remind everyone that they have no evidence that lack of gender affirming care leads to suicidal ideation.
They do have evidence. They made it up in their head.
Through data that they provided to argue their points in many different videos like this one. And to quickly summarize, their proof that not being affirmed leads to more suicide attempts is weak because there are other cofactors like homelessness and drug abuse that are far more prominent, and they've...
Not all correlation equals causation when it supports my argument. Checkmate, bozo.
Also failed to prove that gender-affirming care is an effective treatment because they don't test it against other therapies. And the one time I was provided a study where they did, gender-affirming care was shown to have no effect. Now, personally, I think adults can do whatever they want. You know, who am I to stop an adult who hires a plastic surgeon to turn themselves into an elf?
Oh, we're so close to cat girls. Just a few more years. Come on.
Outside of that, how about the people who throw this stuff at kids spend some time in prison? The evidence that these extremely invasive therapies improve the mental health of children or maintain any mental health benefit long-term is basically non-existent. And keep in mind, they have spent the past 10 years censoring and bullying and taking the jobs of anyone who says where's the data or tries to do honest research. So how about people start going to jail for doing this to kids? How about you at least lose your teaching license for making a secret anime club to teach gender ideology to middle schoolers behind their parents' back? How about these school boards who are putting inappropriate sexual material in front of elementary school kids against their parents' wishes? Get put in handcuffs. I don't think people are thinking downstream far enough. People should be more mad about this. Let's get back to this chick for a second.
If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem.
Right, and why would you have to be afraid of men? Well, it's no secret that mental health issues cause criminality, and things like high rates of single motherhood or giving children life-altering...
I saw this. I don't know if it's true, because I haven't looked super into it. Like, I haven't done a whole lot of research into it personally, but I saw something saying that, statistically speaking, a single mother household is far more likely to be abusive than a single father household. Which I don't know if that's true. I guess if you're speaking emotionally, I would imagine. I doubt they mean physically. Because it just said abuse, which is very broad.
Surgeries at 13 have a really bad habit of giving people the kind of mental health issues that turn them into criminals. There's a reason why a number of these mass shooters are trans. Personally, I would like to live in a space where I'm not constantly worried that I'll be robbed or stabbed. You do know that there are other societies that don't have to deal with these types of problems, right? I would just like to further emphasize a point that I've already made in a prior video, because I went on a second trip to Japan after just going to...
Yeah, well, they do now, because they... I don't know if it's actually because they let in a bunch of Indians, but that's what I was told. I think realistically what it is the same problem we have in the West, where they're bringing in too many people to where they can't actually assimilate. So what ends up happening is they don't assimilate and they just bring their own culture like in its full over, and they don't care to assimilate because they don't need to, so they end up worsening both cultures.
Month prior. And like I said before...
But yeah, this problem doesn't exist in Japan, doesn't exist in the UAE. It's why you don't, from my understanding, broadly speaking, you don't have like many Islamic terrorists in like Dubai or whatever. It's because they treat them very fucking harshly. It like they don't exist.
It is uncanny to be able to just...
Well, they exist, but they're far more like rare.
Relax in public when you're out at night. It is uncanny to be able to walk away from your luggage that contains thousands of dollars of electronics and turn your back on it to look at a subway map because you know that no one's going to steal it. What do they call that? A high-trust society? Japan is also notorious for being clean despite having no trash cans anywhere. I mean,
I went to Japan. I actually struggled to find litter. I was there for 2 weeks and I think I found one thrown bottle, but it was from a tourist.
The trash can situation there is ridiculous. They like hide the trash cans from you. But despite that, the cities are still super clean.
They just bring it home
with them. In fact,
them.
Even the degenerates who litter have the courtesy to hide their empty cans in bushes, or line them up on windowsills, or even organize their litter in public walkways when
okay, that's just funny.
A windowsill or a bush isn't available. Look how neat that is. I'll go even
when they litter, they're clean about it.
Further, because this blew my mind. I've been listening to the Steve Jobs biography, so I wanted to go into an Apple store while I was in Japan, because there's talk about the design of the Apple stores in the book.
Okay.
When my friends and I got there, we noticed that not only do you have, as far as I saw, full access to all the features on the iPhones, but also none of the phones were tethered to the desk.
Oh yeah, I saw this tweet. I didn't even notice it. I didn't read it. I just saw it.
Which means you can just pick the phone up and walk around with it. They can do that in Japan because no one steals. Or at least theft is rare enough that Apple in Japan feels comfortable treating their customers like human beings and not criminals. Why isn't America like that? We don't have to live in filthy cities or filthy communities that are full of criminals. There are other places in the world that have figured this out, and we can too. Though the sad part for Japan is that this is changing a bit. Here's a video that Oriental Pearl just released.
Graffiti all over the wall. Somebody illegally dumped their household trash here. This has been here for weeks. There's even graffiti on the abandoned house.
Unironically, apart from this video, the only graffiti, at least that I can remember in Japan, was from Baki.
This isn't London. It's not New York. This is actually Tokyo, Japan. And then coming over here, every pole, everything, every little box, vending machines have graffiti on it.
I think I know who did this.
This was covered up.
More Free Palestine retards, of course. Like I've said before, I'm all for peace in the Middle East, but when you start engaging in terrorist acts or vandalism, I get a lot less accepting and a lot less sympathetic towards foreigners, especially when it's foreigners who screwed up their country and have come to ruin yours.
But it turns out the people that are being invited into Japan are actually not super grateful, and thank God for Japan, they have a secret weapon to combat this. Racism.
Unfortunately, mass immigration isn't the only issue that's hurting Japan, as global events of the 2020s have caused the culture to degrade a bit.
The graffiti just seems to be getting worse. I've seen this over the last few years. Especially around Corona, after Corona. Right after the pandemic, a lot of runaways from all across the country, even really young kids, middle school and high school age, came and gathered here at Toyoko Hiroba. So there were the Toyoko kids, the runaways from Japan, all across the country that came to Shinjuku. They'd stay in the manga cafes, they'd work, not legal jobs during the daytime. And the same goes for this Okubo Byoin right here behind me. This was insane. And I had never seen anything like this in Japan before. Not only the professional ladies of the night standing out here, but also the amateurs. But you don't see them so much anymore because it became so famous in Japan that the police had to get involved and put a stop to it.
Well, great. It sounds like another bullying success story. Outside of that, yeah, a lot of people are hurting because of what was done during COVID. It's almost like worldwide lockdown.
Yeah, that's just kind of worldwide thing. That's not unique to them, but yeah.
Downs were done to purposefully throw people into poverty and increase crime. Now, as far as I'm aware, this kind of stuff in Japan is isolated to areas of Tokyo like Shibuya, Shinjuku, and a part of Shinjuku called Kabukicho. I don't think it's like a massive countrywide thing. Certainly Kyoto is very clean. However, there was some drama around this video as Chris from abroad in Japan went onto Facebook. Who the hell still uses Facebook?
I don't know.
Chris went onto Facebook to say that Oriental Pearl was just drama farming. And
she could be, yeah.
These areas are actually fine. Personally, I've been to the areas that were mentioned twice in the past 2 months, and I have to say that there is a noticeable difference between them and other parts of Tokyo that are much safer. I mean, a friend and I definitely walked down an alleyway in Shinjuku on accident that we immediately wanted to leave. Not to mention that I've been told unprompted by multiple Japanese teachers during lessons to be careful in these areas, especially at night.
So in this case, I don't think Oriental Pearl is exaggerating or sensationalist. Seeing that much graffiti in Japan, it's not usual.
So that corner is actually here. It's actually getting worse 2023 versus now. So if her point is like, oh yeah, Japan's getting more graffitis everywhere and trash everywhere. Yeah, I didn't know about this myself. It seems like she's actually true.
I do think that this is a problem, at least in those areas. And just because an area was worse before doesn't mean that it can't still be improved. Along with that, if you ignore it, then it will get worse and spread to other places. So personally, I think a less tolerant attitude towards crime, instead of saying, come on guys, it's not that bad, is more appropriate. As for the West, I'm tired of it. I'm fatigued. I'm tired of all the crime. We are way too
Kaiju number 8, that thing is fucking hype. I need to watch season 2. I haven't watched it yet. I fucking love that show.
Tolerant of criminals. So how about we start putting up boundaries? How about we stop putting up with all this bad behavior? Because the more that we allow this stuff to continue, the more it will morph us into bad people. Now, this next thing is about relationships, but I think it heavily applies.
I cannot tell you how much bitterness and resentment you will build up as a man if you do everything for your woman and you get nothing in return. And guys, I'm not going to lie, it will turn you into a monster. you can be the best man on earth, but if you have an ungrateful partner, it will turn you into a fucking...
I don't have as much experience as Tectone does. I do have a bit though. Yes, he is true. He is true. He is correct.
Monster, bro.
He's right. If you get intimately involved with bad people, they will turn you into a monster long before you get anywhere close to fixing them. Some people cannot be reformed, and the ones who can be reformed will only make changes when they're socially ostracized or experience extremely negative consequences. So if you're suffering because you're around bad people, then know that you don't have to live like this. You don't have to be in a relationship with a crazy person, and we don't have to live in a society where people call us racist as they try to turn our kids into sexual deviants who hate their parents. And it's not that hard. If you want to send these people into a spiral, then just tell them that there are only two genders. But if someone keeps trying to ruin your life, stop talking to them. The more you put up with them, the more you'll degrade yourself. If someone commits a horrendous crime, then make sure they go to jail. And last, don't be appeased by bullshit. Bullshit like good old politicians creating cashless bail reform because Irina Zarutska got stabbed on a train. I mean, sure, that's all well and good, and this AI summary seems to show some things that I like, but that's not what we asked for. I could have sworn what people requested was life imprisonment or capital punishment to the activist judges who keep releasing these career violent criminals into polite society. That'll stop this shit real fast. I don't want dumb cashless bail reform as a consolation prize. I want these evil activist judges who let that girl get stabbed to be dealt with. What needs to happen as a society...
Yeah, wasn't that guy arrested like 25 times? Was he the 25 time or was he the 100 time guy? He might have been the 100 time guy that he was arrested and just let go.
Is that we all need to assert boundaries and not back down until actual justice has been served. That's what will fix these problems. Anyway, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter and I'll see you in the next video.
I do follow him on Twitter. The only thing is I don't fucking use Twitter anymore. Yeah. The problem is what I think before you see videos, you just can't do much commentary because he's just right about like everything. So there's nothing to even like pretend argue on, like with other people. Either way though, watch his shit, link will be in the description. All his videos are fucking bangers. By the way, even stuff from like 4 years ago is still maybe not super relevant, but they're still super good videos. So I'd watch them. The only video I can think of off the top of my head that isn't great is that one from like 6 fucking years ago with the Hotel Hell sisters. But if literally the only bad video I can think of is one from 6 years ago, you're doing pretty well, boy. So go check his stuff. Link will be in the description. I'll see you all tomorrow.